Let's make a short, fun, informational video for all you degenerates out there and you heathens. So let's kick it off. Don't forget to subscribe. So today we are going to talk about that whole myth that is floating around out there that like all women are trash, all women are this, all women are that, like this is this, like you got to play this text game and you got to do this thing and you got to do the other thing. Dudes, the guys that are preaching that message and you that are in that message, check this out. Here's an interesting, fun thought experiment for you. So if you go and I've seen these videos before and you can look them up too, are all women trash? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the premise first. So if these guys are all going into these platforms and doing these things, and this is how you do it, and this is Instagram, and all women are this, and all women are that, and they're lying, they manipulate, and like, sure, there's a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of that stuff. But check this out, guys. The videos on the internet, like I've seen it, I saw this one like years ago. It's dudes that go fishing inside of sewers. Guys that are fishing inside of sewers. What does that have to do with anything, Rich? Check this out. Those guys and you are fishing inside of sewers. What do you expect to catch? If you're fishing in a pond that is full of garbage and trash, what do you think you're going to pull out every single time? Probably going to pull out garbage and trash every single time. So change your pond. Change your pond. Change your pond. That's what you guys need to be doing. But there's a first step. Before you change your pond, you gotta kind of fix you. Because check this out. You're fishing in that pond. It's full of floating trash, like maybe long once in a while. You pull out a fish. Do you want to eat that fish? Is that something you're going to bring home? That fish? That fish that has been swimming amongst garbage, that is intermingled with actual trash, that is contaminated? No, man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to fix that thing either. I'm looking down, guys, because I'm pulling up my notes as well, because I want to make sure we kind of stay aligned with these videos. So check this out. The goal of this channel, just so you guys are all aware, is to make better husbands, better fathers to their daughters, better fathers to their son, kind of just raise all boats, right? All boats in a big tide, not in a disgusting, garbage-infested pool. So that is a myth that these guys are selling you of like how to communicate with women on these apps and the club and this, and you got to use this game and like this freaking trickery and mockery, and it makes you a degenerate. It just adds to more degeneracy in society. And like, oh, well, Rich, and I listen to this guy and he says it's this and you got to do that. And I've been burned before. Stop fishing the same ponds. Like if you're going to go sledding, you're not going to go sledding on the hill that's covered in dog poop. Go to the other side. There's no dog poop, you morons. Like that's how you do it. Like, oh, that doesn't exist. I don't know where to find it. Like, I'll make videos about where you could find that type of stuff. But it begins with you dudes. All right, so remember, same thing, the fishing pond, birds of a feather flock together. What does that mean? That means you too, bro. If you are fishing out of those ponds, what does that say about you? You are devaluing yourself. Like if all women are trash and you're fishing out of the trashy pond, maybe you're trash too. Maybe you're not worth fishing somewhere else. So this insane mind game to bed down with women in the club and all this stuff with texting, all these things, it's pretty ridiculous. Why are you doing this? Examine yourself first. Like, why are you fishing in that pond? Why are you doing this thing? Is it because you're getting validation through sex? Validation through women? You need validation through women and through these things? Like, that's where you're getting your validation from? Because I can tell you right now, first, that's desperate and it's gross and it's all disgusting. So that's desperation. And it's desperation to make a girl fit into your life, or the worst, what happens, you're trying to get a girl to fit into your life. If women like this demand you fit into their lifestyle or choices, because it gets flipped upside down. Because it's like, oh, like, I'm hoping she's going to flip into my life, but I'm so desperate that I'm willing to do anything to keep her. So, thus, I'm going to fit into her poor lifestyle choices, and I'm going to affirm her damaging lifestyle choices. But it's also, guys, that's a reflection on you. Because here's the deal, the more you guys end up conforming to those poor lifestyle choices, the more you're going to end up persuading her to leave you because she has no respect for you, because you set no boundaries, because you're fishing out of a terrible pond. How do you know this, Rich? Yo, I did all of this stuff, man. I did all of it. Like, I came out of this. That's how I know from firsthand experience, because I have eyes and I have a brain inside my head, and I think you guys do too. That's why I'm making these videos for you guys. All right, let's talk about the next thing. So, what you guys need to do is to start changing those fishing holes. But first, that starts with guess who? It doesn't start with her. It doesn't start with you trashing women. It doesn't start with any of that stuff. It starts with you fixing you and taking accountability for you and for your shitty choices. Okay, so examine first, you are broken. And if you're broken, chances are you could fix that. But if you're broken, you are looking for broken women to try to, whatever, fix them up, save them, whatever. I know you know the cycle, guys. Like, you guys have all done that stuff before where you find a fixer upper. But guess what? Woman is not a lawnmower that's broken. It's not a car. It's not a kitchen remodeling project. It's not a fixer upper house that you're going to try to turn over for renters. Like, it's not something you can actually fix. That's, I mean, there's tons of issues there. There's father issues, family issues. You know, you can kind of gather those issues real quick. And if you dated those girls, I can guarantee you've heard all of those issues before. So, one, like, look at yourself. It's not going to fulfill any need you have to save someone. Like, when I always like view saving somebody as this. So there's this great book. It's Brideshead Revisited. And anyway, we'll just talk about one piece of the book. There's this guy, Sebastian. He drifts into absurd alcoholism, like absurd. He gets like a little paycheck from his folks. They're a very wealthy family. He's a lord. And he ends up meeting up with this guy, Kurt, who's also an alcoholic and kind of like legit a degenerate, but worse than him. And all Sebastian wants to do is help this guy because he's so low. He's looking for somebody lower to help. He's looking for somebody to fix. He's trying to provide value to himself through fixing somebody else that is broken and taking accountability from fixing himself. So think about that, guys. Think about that in your relationships. So changing your pool starts with you changing you, kind of fixing yourself up. And I got a ton of videos about that, about working out, lifting, like mindset, like all that. Subscribe to my channel. You're going to love it. Okay, so it's not going to fulfill your need to fix somebody. Examine why you want to fix broken women that are broken in the first place. You got to fix that first. You got to fix that mentality, and that starts with you guys. That starts with you changing your pond, not stepping in dog shit all the time because you're sledding down the wrong hill, not fishing in sewers where only you're going to catch crap. And then if by chance you don't catch crap and you catch a fish, it's not something you want to eat. All right. So first, men lead, men fix, men build. Remember this, guys. Men set the standards that a woman will conform to. Now, if you don't want yourself conforming to her, then you have to set the standards. Like, you have to raise your bar. You have to raise yourself. So a lot of accountability. So I always say this, like, if somebody's in a bad marriage, bad relationship, bad girlfriend, whatever, I can always say, hey man, you should probably look at how you're leading that. Like, what are you doing or not doing? What boundaries are you setting? What boundaries are you not setting? Because if you are conforming to her at the end of the day, I could promise she's going to be unhappy and she's going to leave you. And you don't want to be desperate like that, to be like hanging on to something where somebody else wants to walk away and you're conforming yourself to a lifestyle. And it's all backwards, guys. That whole mentality is backwards. The fishing out of the sewers, the advice from these other guys that are fishing out of sewers, how to fish out of sewers best, like that's freaking insane. That's insane. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. And I do this stuff all the time. You have to look at you and fix you first. Now, let's say you're in a marriage and like things aren't going well in your marriage. You can start fixing that without her leaving or walking away. It's going to be by leadership. And I'll make a bunch of other videos about exactly how you can start to lead your wife, even no matter how terrible things have gotten, like things you can do that are practical that you can start leading her. So subscribe to my channel. The goal of this channel, guys, like, is to make better, stronger men, better fathers, better husbands, like all better in culture, just better, better culture, better all of it. So subscribe if you like this and raise your lifestyle. That's it. Out.